Hello everyone, and welcome to Retro Brick Reviews, where today we will be taking a look at LEGO Harry Potter, set number 75955, Hogwarts Express. This set includes 801 pieces, 6 minifigures, and retails for around $80 in the United States, where it released on July 1st, 2018. And without any more further ado, let's get right into this set, starting off with the minifigures. So here we have the first minifigure of the set, young Mr. Harry James Potter, and this figure is not exclusive, as this same exact variant also appears in set number 75950, Aragog's Lair. And while this is a good variant, there are a couple of moderate issues with it appearing in this set. Starting off, the figure is still quite good, though. I mean, the hairpiece is fantastic, great new mold that I love, and I really hope LEGO starts using it in other colors outside of just this one theme. Face print is really great, and double-sided, so you get this scared expression as well, which is quite nice. Although I feel as though this probably captures a bit more of the character of Harry, even if it does lose a bit of the likeness to Daniel Radcliffe. This front face, though, I think is perfect for the young actor. Or, well, young at the time, obviously. But, while the head is great, the head that I actually received with this set certainly is not, because the head I currently have on this guy is the one I got in the Harry's Journey to Hogwarts polybag. The head I got in this set when I opened it up is this one, which, as you can see, is a lot more faded. The print is a lot messier, really a lot on the front already, but turning this around to the back, it's absolutely ridiculous. Like, I don't know if you can tell, but, like, literally the lines of the glasses, like, the gunmetal circles are wavy, they're miscolored, and, like, literally it's wavy. It's not even a circle. Look at that. That's awful. I mean, I don't really mind since I have, like, 6 of this figure, but, like, I would be really miffed if I bought this set and I got that figure, and this was my only Harry Potter set. And I haven't really seen quality control mishaps with any of the other sets, at least not nearly that bad, so I don't know if it could happen anywhere, if it's just with this one set. Maybe it was just a one-time deal. I don't know. Just a weird thing. Anyway, torso print is pretty good. Blue jacket, silver zipper, shirt detail's good. Again, I've already gone over this figure in a previous review, so I'm not going to waste too much time talking about it. The short legs are good, the wand piece is fantastic, but the problem here is that this is a Prisoner of Azkaban set, and this is a very Chamber of Secrets Harry Potter. Because, I mean, come on. Daniel Radcliffe looked older, like 2 years older when Prisoner of Azkaban came out. Because, you know, he was 2 years older. And while you might at first think, and what I was at first thinking was, oh, well, maybe LEGO just thought it was good to just use this figure for all 3 movies because he's not quite old enough to look more like the 2010 Harry Potter, which I thought was fair. Plus, I mean, obviously, in 2010, going back to that, LEGO used the same Harry Potter figure for Chamber of Secrets all the way through Deathly Hallows. So, I mean, maybe you could just say, oh, they just wanted to use this one figure, and I thought that was okay, until LEGO released this guy from the collectible minifigures, because this is LEGO's Prisoner of Azkaban Harry Potter. At first I thought it was Goblet of Fire, but there was a poster book that released sometime back there that, no, this is what Harry Potter for LEGO Modern Harry Potter looks like for Prisoner of Azkaban. He actually looks different for Goblet of Fire, but I'm not going to talk about that since we don't have Goblet of Fire yet. So yeah. And this is definitely more accurate. He's a bit taller, the eyes are more normally sized, and the hair, I don't think works too well for Prisoner of Azkaban. Honestly, I would probably go with the Lloyd Garmadon hairpiece in black, so this is kind of what this figure maybe should have looked like. But instead we have this guy, who again is still good, even if he is not accurate in the slightest to this movie. And even discarding that, the outfit is also not accurate, since Harry wore a black jacket in this scene, or maybe more of like a gunmetal-y dark gray. Either way, not blue. So this is not an accurate figure to the set it's depicting and the scene it's depicting, But, I mean, it's still a really great figure, and I don't think this should deter you from getting the set if you want it, because this figure is still fantastic, and really, the Hogwarts Express could be used for any movie. It just so happens that LEGO chose to have it be for Prisoner of Azkaban here. See, not even really a complaint, just sort of an odd thing. Anyway, on to the next figure. Here we have Mr. Ronald Bilious Weasley, who is much the same case as Harry in that he is also a Chamber of Secrets figure that was just reused from Aragog's lair. And unlike Harry, where yeah, the jacket is a different color, but still, I can kind of accept that because they are both dark colored jackets. But Ron was wearing like a brown sweater during this scene in Prisoner of Azkaban. It honestly would have been more accurate if they'd used his torso from the Whomping Willow set, plus then both of those sets, plus then there would have at least been one exclusive figure in Aragog's lair. I mean, again, not a huge complaint. This is still a really good figure, just not accurate. The hairpiece is a really good pick, as unlike Harry and Hermione, LEGO did not feel the need to make a new piece for Ron, instead just using the Mark Hamill Luke Skywalker hairpiece in orange, which, while it's certainly not perfect, like around the bottom, I feel as though from most angles, and especially around the top and from the front, it works quite well. The face print is one that I remember back when these sets first came out. I thought it looked just like Rupert Grint, but now, thinking about it, it really doesn't all too much. It's definitely more of just a figure that looks like the character of Ron Weasley to me, and less like the actor that portrayed him. I still think it is the best head LEGO's ever made for a Ron figure, though, even if it's still not too accurate. But then again, it is still probably the most Rupert Grint-like figure LEGO's made yet, so I don't know. Anyway, he gets this nice chipper face that's been had by most Ron figures of recent years. In fact, I believe, with the exception of the original 2001 to 2004 head, every single Ron Weasley has had a face that's basically this exact one, even the horrifying 2005 Ron. Anyway, his alternate face is this very scared face, which I think does actually, it looks more like Rupert Grint. It's still not a perfect likeness, but I think it works pretty well, and it works phenomenally for him playing Ron. Anyway, the torso for the checked sweater is nice. Still kind of think maybe the LEGO should have done it on a black base instead, so that the gray was the highlight. Just a thought. Anyway, but yeah, he has the dark blue short legs, which work fine. Brown wand instead of dark brown. Great. However, he has the same problem as Harry in that this is clearly not Prisoner of Azkaban Ron. This is, again, Chamber of Secrets Ron. And unlike Harry, where, I mean, again, the problem was not too noticeable. Like, yeah, he's the wrong height and he has the wrong hair, but still, he doesn't look all too different. The hairstyle isn't all that different. This is Prisoner of Azkaban Ron, and yeah, look at that hairpiece difference. Honestly, like, even if LEGO didn't feel like doing mid-legs and different face prints for this set, I feel as though they could have at least given Ron this hairpiece. Because I think that's a pretty good look, in my opinion. I don't know. But yeah, so anyway, that is all I have to say about this set's incarnation of Mr. Ronald Weasley. He does come with another accessory in the form of his trolley, but since that is a build, I'll cover that later. But now let's move on to the very last student figure in this set, which is young Miss Hermione Granger, who, unlike her two male fellow students in this set, Hermione actually does get an exclusive print for her torso, which is very good. It's accurate to the scene. Nice hoodie design. I could see this definitely being used outside of the scene, which really goes for all of the casual Harry Potter prints, which I think is fantastic. In fact, really, most of these prints don't even have any skin tone printed on the torso, so I could honestly see LEGO just swapping the hands out for yellow and using these prints in city sets, which, of course, while it would make these figures less exclusive, it is always nice to get new prints, and even if LEGO doesn't do that, I could still see people swapping the hands out for yellow to use for their sig figs, or just figures to populate their LEGO cities, since a lot of people, such as Jangbricks, do prefer the yellow tone, even though I personally prefer flesh. And what I'm saying is that it's a great print. Taking off the hair, you can see a bit more of it. On the back, you have a hood. Yeah, I got a bit ahead of myself there since you saw her alternate face, but yeah. Hermione does have the same newly molded hairpiece that she has in 4 of the 5 2018 Harry Potter sets. The exception is the 5th one is just because she's not in the 5th set. Or, well, technically she's not in the 1st set. Anyway, yeah, it's a great new mold, very accurate for a young Emma Watson, and I've sort of had the same thing with Ron here, where originally I didn't really like this face print, but now though I think it does look a lot like young Emma Watson, and I don't know what came over me. Maybe I just stopped being afflicted with the big stupid. I don't know, but this is a really good face print. Very cute. Turning it around. This face I still feel is a bit less accurate, but I like it, especially the little line for the chin under the mouth. I think that's very well done. Very minute detail, but I think it does go a long way to making this look more like a young Emma Watson. But again, a 2002 young Emma Watson, because here we have Prisoner of Azkaban Hermione, and yeah, I feel as though, while I'm not entirely sure why LEGO insists on giving every female figure lipstick, and I don't think Hermione wore lipstick in Prisoner of Azkaban, I feel as though if this is the style LEGO's going for, she was at the point where she should have smaller eyes and the more detailed lips, and the hairpiece here definitely is more accurate, I feel. Even if a lot of people don't like this hair, I think it does work pretty well for Prisoner of Azkaban. Much better than this. But again, this is still a fantastic figure, even if it's just not 100% accurate. But hey, Hermione's the last student, which means that now I get to stop nitpicking about accuracy, and I finally get on with it. So let's do that now. So here we have the main reason I don't mind LEGO making this a random Prisoner of Azkaban set with inaccurate students. Here we have Professor Remus John Lupin. And yes, I am so excited to get one of what in my opinion is one of the best characters in the Harry Potter canon in this set. And this is a phenomenally done figure, in my opinion. It's not perfect, but it's pretty good. We'll start with the part that a lot of people got a bit testy about when this figure was first revealed, the hairpiece, which, yeah, it's not perfect. It would be if it was mirrored, but it's not. Basically, it should have this part that goes down over the eye. That should be on the other side. So yeah, literally just mirror this image and you'll have what his hairpiece should look like. But I don't really mind. It still gets the look across well enough, and it is definitely more accurate than the Gilderoy Lockhart hairpiece that they used to use. Yeah, also the brown color I feel works better than like a burnt orange. Anyway, the face print here is very accurate to the actor who portrayed him, whose name is completely escaping me, unfortunately. Feel free to tell me down in the comments, or don't. Anyway, yeah, I think the eyebrows are done well, all the shaping around the eyes with the sort of wrinkles. Mouth is very well shaped with the sort of V design. Mustache is good. The scarring is pretty much perfect. However, the problem is that stubbly beard, because that is really a Half-Blood Prince Lupin thing. Lupin did not have any sort of facial hair besides his mustache in Prisoner of Azkaban, so that is not accurate. And seeing as how it's rumored that next year we're not getting any Order of the Phoenix or Half-Blood Prince sets, we're just getting things for films 3 and 4, it's kind of odd, since LEGO won't be getting much use out of this print in those sets for a while, and honestly, even so, I kind of would have preferred to have a clean-shaven Lupin, since obviously Prisoner of Azkaban is his main gig, and this is where he's first originating, but it's not terrible. Just kind of annoying. What's also kind of annoying is his alternate face, which has Lupin turning into a werewolf. Yeah, I remember when this figure was first revealed, and me and everyone else thought that this was confirmed proof that there were going to be more LEGO Harry Potter sets in 2019, and that one of them was going to be the Shrieking Shack. As it turns out, there are more LEGO Harry Potter sets in 2019. But unless it's a retail exclusive, none of them are the Shrieking Shack, and therefore none of them would include Werewolf Lupin. So that's kind of odd, and if this was just his one set, I kind of would have preferred to just get a sort of like another more neutral face, like maybe a frowning Lupin, or just a normal angry Lupin instead of a werewolf one. And if Lupin were to come in other sets, I kind of would have preferred if this one had him sleeping like he was when he first appeared in the movie instead of like this. I don't know. But this is still a very well-done face print with the sharp teeth, the eyes probably shouldn't be yellow. They should probably be more of like a white with a bit of milky blue added in. Just a thought. Kind of like how they did for Elijah Wood's eyes for the alternate face for the Frodo minifigure in the 2012 Lord of the Rings sets. But yeah, very good likeness, though, just a minor nitpick for both faces. Torso is pretty simple, but pretty great. No leg printing, but that's just peachy. Glad that LEGO's not using dark green for Lupin anymore, since that was really not accurate. And I also do like the multiple different colors used, like the olive green print, the gray torso, the tan legs. It really does give it more of a disheveled look, which I think works pretty well. I did try this figure out earlier with both olive green and gray legs, and doesn't look good like at all, so I'm glad LEGO went with this many different colors approach. It has a good style to it. His accessories are a brown wand that is the same type we saw with Ron, as well as a simple brown briefcase, which you get 3 of in this set, and one of them belongs to Professor Lupin. I kind of would have liked if maybe the set had a little sticker you could put on to say that it is the property of R.J. Lupin, but nonetheless, it's still a good accessory to get at least, and yeah, that is Professor Lupin, who I would call one of the 2 minifigure highlights of this set. So, before we get on to the other highlight that is what most people think is basically the coolest figure of 2018, and, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of agree, let's move on to another figure, which I think is pretty awesome as well. Believe it or not, this is the first time LEGO has ever made the Trolley Witch in minifigure form. I mean, it might not be all that surprising, since the Trolley Witch isn't exactly the pinnacle of characters, but I mean, still kind of interesting, considering that this is the 5th minifig scale Hogwarts Express, or technically the 6th, since the motorized version also came in a little track pack as well. Anyway, but we've never gotten her until now. And, I mean, I can kind of see why. She isn't a very important character, but she is still a part of the Hogwarts Express, so it's great to finally get her, and it's great that LEGO didn't really cheap out on her. At least, they didn't cheap out in ways I didn't expect them to. Starting off, the hairpiece, I think, is perfect. I think it's a new coloration for this Hollywood starlet hair, but I'm not positive. But I think it works pretty well, even if it's not new. The face print is not new, but much like Professor Severus Snape's leg printing in these sets, it took people a good amount of time to realize that this is actually Aunt May's face from the current line of LEGO Marvel superhero sets, or, well, now I guess we just have Spider-Man sets. But anyway, I think it works pretty well in my opinion. It looks a lot like the actress, and again, minor character, wasn't really expecting LEGO to go all out and give us a new face print, so I'm glad that they at least chose one that is pretty good, instead of giving us, like, some young woman face with brown eyebrows, which is kind of what I was expecting, so I'm glad that LEGO went this route. The wrinkles are good, the eyes are good, it's a good face. Alternate face is just an effect of this being an Aunt May head, but it's a scared face. I mean, you're not really getting much use out of this, although I guess technically you could use this for when the Dementor comes by. But yeah, still a very good face. Don't like it as much as the main one, but it's good. The torso print is new, of course. There was, like, if LEGO cheaped out and didn't give us a new torso, then there would have been a problem. But it is a new print, and it is very nice. Again, quite simple, but you do have a nice design for a little golden chain necklace, and some nice design around the neck of the shirt. And some simple negative space increases in there. Back printing is very simple. So yeah, that is the Trolley Witch, a figure that is not perfect, but not really bad in any way either. There really aren't any flaws with this figure. Well, I mean, unless you count it as a flaw that her alternate face isn't like her turning into a giant monster with claws for hands and exploding pumpkin pasties. If you haven't read Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, you think I'm insane. And if you have read Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, and you're laughing along with me, because that was the stupidest thing in the history of, well, anything, really. At least until the big twist at the end of Fantastic Beasts 2. But anyway, yeah, this is a pretty good figure. And I'm actually really glad that LEGO didn't do that. And I really hope that LEGO never makes a set for Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. Ever. Because that plays awful. I mean, at least the script is. I don't know. JK never released it on DVD, so I'm not paying to go see it on Broadway. And she also never wrote a book, since I guess she's done with writing books. She just releases scripts now. Anyway, I've spent like 5 minutes just rambling not even about this figure, so let's move on to the very last minifigure in the set, which for some reason on their website LEGO doesn't even consider to be a figure, but it's pretty awesome, and I think you'll agree. Just pretend that there's like an effect here to show like my set icing up and stuff. Oh, yep, it's the Dementor, boys and girls. A fantastic looking figure. Yeah, let's start with the bottom instead of the top, where you can see that the leg piece is actually the Ninjago Possession Ghost Tail piece. Although, actually, now that I think of it, it might have originated in Minifig Series 14, the Monster Series. Not positive on that. You can tell me in the comments, or don't. Either works for me. Anyway, so you have this really nice ghost tail piece with the black molded with trans clear, and I don't know if that coloration was exclusive when this first came out, but I think it was new at the time. Now it also comes in the $90 Overwatch set, but it's a very nice coloration that works very well for the Dementor. Glad they used light clear instead of using sort of trans smoke, since that would have made the contrast pretty hard to see, but this is pretty great. I like the two colors. Yeah, the torso is very simple, and this is the first Dementor to actually have a normal minifigure torso instead of having a skeleton. So I guess that's pretty cool. The print on the front is kind of basic, mostly just gray lines, but with a bit of light gray thrown in there as well to show you have some organs, you have the wrapping around the ribs. It's a pretty creepy print. Not nearly as creepy as the face, though, because if we take off this standard hood piece, that really still isn't accurate, and I honestly feel as though maybe this figure would be a bit more accurate if you just left it off and just had the head print. As this figure takes off, because there isn't fantastic clutch power with my stand, just two jumpers. Ooh, that's quite the mouth you have, sir. Gotta love all the tiny little sharp teeth going around every edge. It's just one inner edge, since it's a circle. I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway, cheekbones are good. Unlike older Dementors, or, well, unlike the 2010 one, rather. No alternate face on this guy, but really, that's fine, since the alternate face would just be nothing, or I guess technically the two cheekbones, so I don't really mind not having a closed mouth face, because who wants to see a Dementor with a closed mouth? And also he has this tattered cape around the back, which I think is originally a tattered Batman cape from the Bat Zorro minifigure, but it works pretty well here. I think it would have been nice if it had been like the older cloaks, where you also had some around the front. Though I have the old Dementors, and I'm sure a lot of you, if you don't have those, you probably have some sort of cape to put around the front if you feel like it would work, like the Series 14 Wraith minifigure had a cape that you could use. Maybe you could just put like another tattered cape or a short cape around the front. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't even bother you. It doesn't even bother me that much, so I don't know why I'm mentioning it. Oh, and this guy has no back printing, because you're never taking off the cape unless you're an absolute hooligan, so why would you need any printing on the back? So yeah, the Dementor is the last minifigure in the set, although there is one other mini figure. Not like mini space figure, because it's a really small lad. Anyway, so let's take a look at that. So here we have the very last figure we get in the set, which is Scabbers the Rat, aka spoilers for everyone who hasn't seen Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban or read the book. Well, they're really, like, let's be real, a lot more people have watched the movie for some reason, even though it is the best Harry Potter movie, but it's still not as good as the book. Anyway, Scabbers, aka Peter Pettigrew. I'm sure at some point at least one person's Harry Potter viewing experience will be ruined by that, so I apologize in advance. Anyway, this is a very small rat boy. Only printing is for the eyes, which aren't perfectly aligned for me. One's a bit higher than the other, but it's better than I've gotten on previous Scabbers, so I don't really mind. Molding's pretty good. This guy also comes in the Hogwarts Great Hall set, and he gets a bit of extra printing for a hunk of loose fur in the minifigure series, and since this is Prisoner of Azkaban, Scabbers probably should have that missing fur, and actually I have that version here, so I can just quickly show you the difference. He just has that little bit on the top. Anyway, but yeah, this is a pretty good design for Scabbers. However, it's not only for Scabbers, as LEGO has used this rat in other places. Like, I think it might have come in one of the City Arctic sets, and it's also for sale at the coffee shop in Apocalypseburg from the LEGO Movie 2. So yeah, anyway, that's a rat. And before we move on to the two main builds of the set, let's take a look at the two trolleys we get. So here we have our two trolleys. The first of which is Ron's luggage trolley, which is a very simple build. He just holds it here at the back as I flick him off. And yeah, you just have some Technic pinholes representing wheels here, which I know some people don't like since it does remove the actual wheels, but I think it works well since you can still slide it, and it looks a lot more smooth than having skateboard wheels on the bottom. The design is very simple with how it's done, but it can hold just a couple of plain brown briefcases in the enclosed space. At the front you have Scabbers attached on, just with a jumper plate to make him sort of centered, which I think works pretty well. And you probably do want to use both hands when putting this together, since it can sort of fall forward, since, again, you just have these round surfaces at the front and back. But yeah, good build. The other trolley is for the Trolley Witch, and it has some awesome sand green, which is, as we all know, my favorite color. And also some gold 1x1s, which is nice, as well as a gold handle at the back. And on top, you just have some candy, a box of Bernie Bott's Every Flavor beans, a chocolate frog, which is always fantastic to get, and I don't think we've actually gotten the frog piece in brown since the last Hogwarts Express in 2010, so that's really awesome. And we also get this nice, I guess that could maybe be some unboxed Every Flavor beans. And unlike the 2010 trolley, there is no sort of opening door underneath, so you can't put anything inside. You just have that little hole at the bottom, so I guess maybe you could stick a little something down there. But, well, this set is missing a little opening hatch for the trolley. This set actually comes with a Trolley Witch, so I'd call it an improvement. And anyway, now let's move on to the King's Cross Station build. Yeah. So here we have the very first LEGO interpretation of King's Cross Station / Platform 9 3/4 that the LEGO Group has released since the original Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone movie back in 2001. And yeah, I'd say that this is easily not just the best Harry Potter train station LEGO has released, but probably one of the best train stations LEGO has released. And I know I'm going to get a lot of flack for that, but my main reasoning here is that most LEGO train stations are either really minuscule and pointless, or they're their own sets. So this set automatically gets a lot of points for me because it is not super tiny. It does have a lot of mass to it, but it also doesn't have a lot of pieces, so it can be alongside a train and still be in a reasonably priced set. Anyway, this is pretty great. We'll start off with the little bit at the edge, which is actually Platform 9 3/4. Starting off there, you have a stickered sign on the red flag, which, yeah, it has the Hogwarts crest, 9 3/4, and Hogwarts Express written on it. You have a couple of printed, not stickered, but printed 1x2 tiles with the Daily Prophet on this little newspaper stand. And you can read that. The print also comes in the Hogwarts Whomping Willow set, but this set comes with 2, which is nice. And you can just see how they attached both of those in there, which is pretty good. Above that, you have a couple of oil-lit lamps, as well as a wanted poster for Sirius Black, which is pretty accurate to the movie. Of course, there was no way for LEGO to get actual movement on that sticker, since LEGO doesn't really do the, I can't remember what they're called, but, you know, the stickers where you look at them 2 different ways and they show different images, like what they did with the old Mirror of Erised. LEGO doesn't do that anymore, unfortunately. But, which I think could have been cool, but it's alright. Good print, though. Well, it's a sticker, and you can see here that, Sirius is using Mad-Eye Moody's hair from the collectible minifigure series, so when we get Sirius in a Series 2 of the LEGO Harry Potter line, a Wave 2 this summer of 2019, that is, he'll probably use that hairpiece, either in black or dark brown. And he'll probably come in the small Dementor attack set that's currently a rumor. Anyway, of course, to get to platform 9 3/4, you have to go through the barrier between platforms 9 and 10. And how you do that is you take your figure with a trolley, so either Ron from this set or Harry with his trolley if you have the polybag Harry's Journey to Hogwarts, and you just put him on this side and you just push him right on through. I would probably recommend moving just the newspaper stand over just by one set of studs so you can actually fully get him onto the platform and have the wall fall back down before he collides with it, which is good. And yeah, the wall's just on Technic pins, and yeah, he can move up and down and all around. And yeah, you could also kind of use to have a figure go back to the Muggle world, although there it doesn't work as well because there isn't enough room for the figure to go fully through, unless you just want to take Ron up the stairs, which I guess is fine. But yeah, pretty good feature. Sure, it's pretty quaint and very simple, but I think it works quite well. Anyway, moving on to the King's Cross part. Here you have a sign. Well, first off, stickered signs for platforms 9 and 10. And those are stickered on both sides, even though I don't know who's ever going to be viewing this from the back, but they are stickered on both sides. They really should be hanging down, not up, but I guess they had to have them both be hanging up, or else you wouldn't be able to see platform 10, because it would be like this. You know, where you're never looking, and I'm going to have trouble getting that back up. Why not? So yeah, then you have a nice modern lamp, as well as a sign for King's Cross Station. And here you have this fantastically done crossover bridge, where you have some stairs leading up on both sides, platform space, and up top you have the bridge with railing on both sides, and this very nice little clock, which has a sticker and 2 clip pieces for hands. There is a little bit of a bar from the clock that juts out at the back, but I don't really mind that too much. There isn't, and up here you could fit a lot of figures, which is nice. And yeah, of course, one more question with this platform, of course, is can it actually fit the Hogwarts Express in it? Like, can you push the train through? And the answer is that, I mean, of course you can. I don't think LEGO would have included it with this Hogwarts Express if you can use it with the Hogwarts Express. But still, it is cool. There is clearance on the bridge for all of the set to go under it. And even if you put the set on train tracks, something I can't do since I don't own any current system train tracks, unfortunately, the train still can fit under even when it's on those, which is quite nice. So yeah, that's really all there is to this platform. So without any more further ado, I say we finally get on to the main event of this set, the Hogwarts Express itself. So here you can see that, much like the last few LEGO interpretations of the Hogwarts Express, this model is divided up into 3 sections, those being the main locomotive, the coal tender, and a single passenger car. Starting off with the locomotive itself, and well, disconnecting it, you can see that on this model, unlike the previous ones which used magnets, this actually uses simple Technic pins and I've never really known what you and I guess sort of short lift arms as couplings, and well, on one hand, I do really like having magnets. It does give it a real good toy train feel on the older ones. This is far more sturdy, so I think it was a good call. Also, you get much more mobility between the 2 parts. Anyway, starting off with the main Hogwarts Express locomotive that is easily the best thing in this set, in my opinion, and one of the best things of this entire 2018 Harry Potter lineup. One thing I do want to mention first, that a lot of British train experts were quick to mention when this was revealed, is that this is quite short for the Hogwarts Express, and yeah, I'm not going to argue that. This is way too short. Even the older versions of the locomotive were too short, and this is even about 4 studs shorter than those. And in the future, I do plan on doing a comparison between this model and the 2010 one, which is the other Hogwarts Express set I have. And, well, yeah, this is much shorter than it should be, I don't really mind, because this set still looks fantastic and easily blows all of those other interpretations out of the water. Starting off on the front, I'll just hold it here, you have that nice printed 4x4 dish, which I believe is a slightly different print than all the previous versions. I actually think that I'm pretty sure that every version of the Hogwarts Express has had that print a little different, and here I think the numbers 5972, I think those are a bit smaller than they used to be, and previously Hogwarts Express had a trademark next to it, I'm positive, and it's not anymore, which is good, since I was always stupid. A tiny aesthetic complaint is that you can see bits of dark bluish gray, well, light bluish gray, rather, behind the dish, and that is annoying, but it's not too big a thing. At the front, we have the buffers, which, now that LEGO's not using the single one-piece large buffer pieces that have the magnets attached, these can be brick-built and look quite nice. I especially like the gunmetal gray stud pieces used in there. And our first play feature for the model is that, as you can see right now, the front wheels are locked. However, if we lift up this piece, the wheels unlock, which really doesn't work for freewheeling, but like this is for if you put it on tracks, so it can go on train tracks better. Fold this down and it's better for just playing around, which, since I don't have any train tracks, that's how I'm using the model. Cool feature, though. On the sides, you have a couple of stickers to get this red stripe going on this slope, as well as on this little guard down here, I think. Mud guard, maybe? Probably not. Anyway, here we have a bit of tubing connected in, as well as some going along the whole side using a lightsaber blade and two... I've always thought of these as like the Gandalf staff pieces, you know, the 6 long bars with the little nudge towards the end. Yeah, then here you have this curved tile, which is actually a print. You get 2 of those in the set with Hogwarts Castle. Very good to have that printed, because that would be a real pain to put on as a sticker, so I'm glad I didn't have to. Back here, this is a sticker, though, with 5972, but it's a pretty good one, so I don't really mind. And then down here, you just have a bit of extra greebling. And here, you have a nice little... You have the 3 wheels, and you can see that 2 of those actually touch the ground. The third one in the middle is just loose, although if you put this on carpet or track, it would still run. It just wouldn't actually key into the track. And anyway, the feature here is, here you have the little connecting rod, which is just a Technic piece, and as you push the model along, that actually does move. You can see it pushing out and in, which is a pretty cool feature that is on both sides. It is a bit of a pain to get them both to be in the same position at the same time, I will admit. But I still think it's a pretty awesome feature. Yeah, up top you also have a lot of nice detailing for like the funnel and dome and whistle, including some nice painted metallic gold elements for just those dishes, which are very nice to get. Not too common you see painted metallic pieces, so that's always good. Underneath you can see that there is no intention by LEGO to have this be motorized, although a lot of people already have, including Jang Bricks. But yeah, it was not an intention at all, which I think was a good call by LEGO, honestly, because I don't really care about motorization, and it would be kind of stupid, because, you know, that would be a lot of extra money when only a small group of people actually care about that, and those people care enough to make the necessary adjustments to make it motorizable anyway. Yeah. Anyway, then here at the back, we can remove the roof to get a better look at the operator's cabin. You get no conductor in this set, though, like, if it bothers you that much, you could probably just make your own conductor figure. Anyway, inside you have a couple of little flames coming out of the firebox, as well as a couple of dashes, and also a couple of pipes, I guess. Pretty simple detailing, but it's very well done. No stickers needed, which is quite good. Yeah, and then at the back you just have a little bit of greebling, as well as this little Technic hole, which is where you would connect in the coupling from the coal tender. And that is really all there is for the main locomotive. So now let's bring in the coal tender, which I think is, I mean, no offense to the coal tender itself as it is. I mean, it's an alright little build, but it is definitely pretty square, I guess is the best way to put it. Yeah, this thing should be way longer. Like, in general, this thing is too short in comparison to the real thing, but I feel as though with the locomotive and the passenger car, I can accept it because it still looks close enough. This tender though it's so small. It looks really awkward. Underneath you can see that unlike the train, which used Technic-based wheels, this tender does use the actually I'll just remove it from the train. Actually, that makes it much easier. You've already seen what it looks like with the train just now, so I don't need to keep it there. Anyway, unlike the train, this does use the older style of, like, subway train wheels that have the metal connecting rods. Well, not connecting rods, but, you know, axles, that's the word. Yeah? At the front and back, you just have these rods, which is nice. You have a spot for a coupling on both sides. You have this nice little curve, and unfortunately, I feel as though maybe there should just be a 1x1 tile here, so you don't have that exposed stud, which is kind of awkward. But yeah, there is one little thing I don't like about this, and that's that just like the 2010 one, and maybe even the 2004 one, but I'm not positive, the coal tender can open up to act as a luggage area, and I like that. The problem is that in the 2010 version, they made it kind of look like a luggage cart, because, while sure, there was a little bit of red in there to signify the handle, did I say luggage, I meant coal, because they put a lot of studs and 2x2 round pieces in there to make it look like it was full of coal. Here, all we have is this gunmetal handle, so it doesn't even look like a coal car, to the point where, like, people who aren't as experienced, like I remember in, I think it was Just Too Good's review of the set, he actually just thought this was just a standard luggage car because there was nothing here to indicate it's a coal car. But anyway, just uses a trapdoor piece on top, lift that up, and inside you have room to put stuff. You could easily fit a couple of trolleys or a lot of accessories. I remember the 2010 one came with a ton of stuff to put in there, which was really cool. This set you can really only put in, like, Ron's trolley and, I guess, Lupin's suitcase. Although if you're not using it, you could also probably fit in the Trolley Witch's cart as well. Yeah, and you have a lot of room in here, so you could fit that stuff in, but since that'll be a hassle to get out, instead, I'll just toss in the spare Harry Potter I have from the poly bag. So yeah, that is the very simple coal car, although if you get this, I would probably just put, like, a couple of little studs up on top to make it look less boring. But yeah, so that's the coal car, and the final, and in my opinion, honestly, maybe even the best part of this entire set is actually the thing that you would expect to be the least interesting, but it is actually fantastic. That, of course, being the passenger car for the Hogwarts Express. Just adding the coupling in here, I guess. And yeah, at first it seems very simple. On the roof you have this simple design with some nice gunmetal studs, which are very nice to see. Not a very common color for the piece, so that's good. You just have a single little Hogwarts Express sticker, and, oh, actually, on the rail, you probably saw, if you're not blind, but here you just have these two large stickers, one on each side of these large 1x6x3 panel pieces that kind of look awkward with the little curve bit, but in general, this is kind of an awkward design. Anyway, moving back to the luggage car, on each side you just have a single stickered 1x4 showing the Hogwarts crest. And on previous designs of this vehicle, LEGO has used yellow to represent the gold striping. Here they've gone with a dark tan, which I think looks better. Like, obviously it would be best if LEGO actually used, like, a gold color, but if they're not going to go to spring for that, this is best, as this does, it looks enough like LEGO's, not the pearl gold, but the metallic gold that we see on the train, like the funnel, and it doesn't look too much like it on camera, but it does in real life. Anyway, on the front and back we have these exit doors, which are a bit awkward since they're kind of blocked by the interior, and I don't want to show you that too long or else you'll get a spoiler. This also uses the older style of metal axled train wheels, And a bit of greebling just on the front and back, although you'd have a pretty big and kind of annoying open space here in the middle. But this has a pretty awesome play feature that I think is crazy that this is the first time I've ever seen LEGO using it. So, obviously you remove the roof, which is stock and standard. LEGO does that all the time with stuff like this, but here's the new feature, and this is going to absolutely blow your mind. First, actually, look at these windows, forgot to mention. Definitely not as detailed as the older ones, which had those more textured, sort of specifically designed train bus window pieces, but I guess these work better since you can open these. Anyway, play feature in 3, 2, 1. Yeah, it just pops off. Not even any mechanism. It's literally you just pull the side off. But inside, you now have this fantastic interior space. So what we can do with that is you have 4 seats. So if we put their arms up, you can fit in Harry Potter, Ronald Weasley, Hermione Granger, and Professor Lupin, who, unlike the rest who are just standing, he is, of course, sitting down since he has normal minifigure legs. And, of course, this is just how I'm doing it. If you take figures from your own collection, you could put them in here. And also, while we have this opened up, we can also put the Trolley Witch patrolling the corridors with her candy cart. Yeah. Or alternatively, we could set the Dementor up so he could be terrorizing some folks. Yeah, one thing that is a bit annoying is that unfortunately you can't really close the setup if you have the Trolley Witch in here. There just isn't enough room. What they do is you have this little aisle in the middle, and in there you can just stick in the candy cart when you have the set closed up, and you could just... I think the intent is that you either remove the Trolley Witch or you ever stand on these well, probably just on the tiles, in all honesty, but there are 2 ways to keep her in here. You could have her standing on these studs at the very ends, or you could also attach the back of her legs to the studs on the sides of these seats, if I can just get her to connect on. Yeah, like that. That's how I display the set, but obviously you don't have to. You could use one of the other methods I just described. And anyway, then you just put the side back on, where you can see all 4 figures inside, or well, all 5 as well, including the Trolley Witch. The candy cart is obscured from a lot of angles, but that's alright. And yeah, pretty cool design. So we just take this, and we connect it into the luggage car, and I keep calling it a luggage car because that's basically what it is, not a coal car. And again, I'm thinking of Just Too Good, I think's video, who said it was that anyway. And then you connect in the locomotive itself, tilt it like this so I can actually get it in the shot. So that is the entire Hogwarts Express set, which is, of course, the last build of the LEGO Harry Potter Hogwarts Express set. And... well, before we finish up, we do have a couple of extra things to look at, starting off with the set's box. So here we have the set's box, which is quite a large box size. I think it fits well for an $80 set. And on the front, you can see at the top left the LEGO Harry Potter logo, and at the top right, you have that Order of the Phoenix image, those images of Harry, Ron, and Hermione. Still don't get why they used Order of the Phoenix images when all of these sets are based off of the first 3 movies, but I don't know. And at the bottom right, you have the Wizarding World logo. Even though no one calls it Wizarding World, everyone calls it Harry Potter. Even when they're talking about Fantastic Beasts, they call it the Harry Potter franchise. Oh, and then bottom left, you have the 6 minifigures. I think the image on the front of the box does a great job at showing off what you get in the set. It shows off the platform with the feature of the moving wall, so you can put a figure through. It shows off the locomotive in great detail. You have the passenger car in the background with the Trolley Witch inside, and I think it does do a good job at prominently showing all the figures, with the exception of the Trolley Witch, maybe. But again, if you're looking at the back in the passenger car, you will see her, so I guess it does a good job at showing them all off. On top, you just have 6 minifigures in some nice poses, and the Dementor having the actual size reference. On this side, you just have an image of the set as well as some other languages. Here you just have Lego Harry Potter and an advertisement for Lego Life. And on the bottom, you just have some legal info. Back of the box is the only other interesting side most of the time, including in this scenario. And yeah, this is a pretty good box back, if I do say so myself. It shows the train fully spread out with the opening thing for the coal car, as well as how openable the passenger car is. Shows off a couple of screenshots of what you can do with the set, as well as a nice image of platform 9 3/4 up there in the top right. So yeah, that's the box. The set's instruction manual is a very tall one. And yeah, the set feature, and it is just one booklet, which is good. 7 numbered bags throughout the set. And if we flip through, the set is in total 116 steps. At the back, you have an advertisement for the 3 main Harry Potter sets, so not including this set or Quidditch match, since those are exclusives. An advertisement for the 2 Fantastic Beasts sets, and an advertisement for the 2 standard release Brickhead sets. And then just a checklist of all the parts included, and win! You know, I remember when I used to actually go to lego.com/product feedback to get, and for like every set I owned just to try and win a prize, and of course I never did. Yeah. So yeah, manual. This set has an alright array of extra parts, although in comparison to all the other LEGO Harry Potter sets, they are pretty bland. You, of course, get the sprues for the 3 colors of wands included, and you do get an extra dark brown wand and an extra tan wand, but aside from that, you don't get too much exciting stuff. And you get this 3 long bar piece in gray, which I suppose is alright. You have this printed 1x1 with a gauge, don't know why I said gauge. And, yeah, this originated in 2013, so it's a relatively common print, but I suppose it's nice to get an extra. Get a gunmetal gray stud, which is pretty cool. One of these relatively recent, pyramid pieces in tan, which only come in tan in this set and the Hogwarts Great Hall, if I'm correct. Get an Exoforce hand and a sand blue cheese slope and a 1x1 in gold. And other than that, most of these pieces are just like spare tiles and slopes and nothing really interesting besides that for the extras. But yeah, that is the very last thing I have to take a look at for this review, so I guess let's move on to my final opinions. So, overall, what do I think of LEGO Harry Potter set number 75955 Hogwarts Express? Honestly, in my opinion, it's one of the best sets LEGO released in 2018. I mean, there really isn't much wrong here. I mean, yeah, the kid figures are definitely a bit too young for when this takes place, at least in terms of when we get a couple figures and a tiny little sticker reference, but really, if you take those out, the figures aren't a problem at all. And really, all the figures are fine, even the tiny nitpicks aside from that, like Lupin's weird beard that isn't accurate, those aren't really issues at all. Figures are fantastic. Builds are even better. The train is fantastically well done, in my opinion, especially the passenger car. The locomotive has a ton of great detailing that, honestly, I don't think I even pointed out how this version actually has such good curvature to it, while the previous versions just used sloped pieces. You know, like house roof slopes. But hey, again, I'm going to compare this to the 2010 version later on this year, so you'll be able to see that then. And yeah, the King's Cross Station is a phenomenal side build with lots of playability, and it's very large for such a small amount of pieces. Really, the only actual problem with this set is the coal tender. And I mean, come on, who cares about the coal tender? No one's buying the Hogwarts Express for the coal tender. So yeah, I guess that's my 2 cents. This set's 801 pieces, it's $80. 10 cents per part ratio. Not fantastic, but not bad either. Just perfectly average price to part ratio, which is good. Well, it's not good, because good would be better, less than 10 cents per piece, but I'll take it. Yeah, not much else to say. This is a fantastic set, and I definitely think it's worth $80. If you can only get one Lego Harry Potter set, would this be my first choice? Probably not. I still feel as though the best set from the line is the Hogwarts Whomping Willow, but this is a close second. Not entirely sure what follows after, to be honest. But yeah, so this is still a fantastic set. Phenomenally well done. 6 great figures. Several great builds. Yeah, that's all. So thank you all so much for watching this video, and I hope to see you all in the next one. Farewell.